And there we go. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday morning, old year day, last day of 2020. Yay. And we've made it so far, and we're going to make some libraries today. I'm Merrick Bennett from merrickbennett.com. Thank you to Kimball Jenkins for hosting this week's really fun morning camps here. It's been a wonderful week to draw together. We've gotten a lot done. I got a lot of books done, a lot of libraries made. Let's take a quick look here. I have a little, as you can see, the little box libraries are stacking up. We started with our little cottage library. We'll do a quick update on the one we've been building this week. We've got castles. And then over here, we've got a school of little boxes that are based on monster designs and skulls and literary figures. This is a little Moby box, I guess, little whale that swims around and eats our little books there. So today I have a wrapped box, right? I took a tea box that I had in my cupboards. I took all the tea bags out. I'll replace them with little books. I wrapped it up with masking tape, and it's ready to draw on. So the question becomes, building like a library building or like a little monster? And I'm thinking, since we've been doing buildings all week, we'll do monsters today, and we'll turn this into a monster. I'm going to switch over to our little desk cam here so we can see this box right up close and see what we're drawing here. I have a pencil handy. Like I said, I have a blank tea box all wrapped up with masking tape. As we saw on Tuesday, I posted a link so that you can go back and see how we wrap those up on Tuesday. And oh, look, Holly's here. We painted our tea box white because we didn't have tape. Looks good and we were ready. That was one of the questions I was going to put out to people this week is, I know I've been using tape, masking tape, but it's not ideal. It's a little bumpy. Sometimes it dries out and unsticks. So what are the ways that you've come up with to cover your box? And yeah, if you paint it, you'll have to plan on, I'd give it a nice long time to dry. But that will make a nice smooth surface. Maybe you can post, Holly, maybe you can post some pictures of your box so we can compare and see how they come out. Other people may want to try that. So I wrapped my box. I have a pencil. I also have a little basket of colored permanent markers here. I have a bunch of colors. I went all out once I started making these boxes. But all you really need, you could get by with a single black marker, and you could come up with a really cool black and white design. You just need something that's going to mark this tape and not come out, not smudge onto your hands when you handle this box, because people will open this box. You want it to sort of invite them in. Whatever you do on the outside, they'll open it up. Oh, this one's empty. This is my old crayon box. You can see there's all these crayons that have scoured the sides trying to get out over the years. Let's see, I think if we check our other monster, we can do a quick update here on boxes and books that we've been working on this week before we get started. Ah, yes, see this library monster, who needs a name and a sign here still. This library monster opens up to be full of all these tiny little books. So let's do a quick update on these. Let's see, we've got a ton of them here. Now, as we saw earlier in the week, all we have to do is take 3x5 index cards, pair a few of them with maybe a colored one for the cover, right? And then we staple it, 1 or 2 staples, cover side up, staple into the center so the teeth are in the middle of the book. And when it's folded up, it makes this wonderful receptacle for ideas, sort of a little spot to do your daily creative. I've been thinking of them as daily creative prayers, where you just put your ideas down into this book and then leave them for someone else to read, right? Kind of walk. These are not books to edit and work painstakingly over. These are books to just make them up. Oh, and look, quick update on a progress. I finished this after dinner last night. This is my newest book of the week, Curse of the Werewolf's Accordion. Volume 1, at least, a tragic melody in 7 chapters. So when last we saw, we had chapter 1 written, an unwelcome surprise, right? With the mystery. We talked about the mystery of the chapter title and the illustration and the hint of writing that kind of pushes your imagination to imagine a story. We have chapter 2. I have to clean up with the eraser. The illustration really changed from last time. Drums of the Hunt. Chapter 2, the story really kicks into gear. By chapter 3, scurrilous propinquity. The investigators have arrived and stuff is happening. And a deathbed confrontation in chapter 4. As you can see, there's a lot going on in this story. My favorite part is the epilogue, but what I'll do is I'll finish this cover. I have to add an about the author and a little more on the back, and then I'll post this over on the Patreon. So you can check that out. All right. So like I said, tons and tons of books coming together. Let's make a box. Oh, the other update I had, speaking of boxes, let's do a quick update on the library we were working on. We've done a couple special sessions on this cottage library. When last you saw it, we were probably working on the roof, right? We added the golden bunny in that one morning when we started this one. We got a book delivery door at the back. We have a rabbit hard at work on a new book there in the back window of the library. And when you open this library up, the new design idea is you open it up and the roof reveals all these little bunny rabbits reading a book in there. And they're kind of surprised, but they invite you in to share the book. So the birds can come in and everybody can come in and read. And that's our library. It's not done yet. As you can see, I have to shade in the roof still. I think I'll darken the walls, but this is really fun, kind of exploring this building. And now later on today, before the year is over, I will stuff it full of new books, and maybe I'll go next door to my niece and nephew's house. We're potting together and we make some books together. So I'll stuff it full of some blank books and some new books, and we'll go a bookmaking later on today to ring in the new year with some new books. So ringing in the new year, ringing out the old year with a monster design. So I designed this monster box to open up and reveal big fangs. I like big fangs. Big fangs are so eye-catching. And I wanted it to look a little scary, a little friendly. So I hope it isn't too imposing. I wanted it to kind of say, open me up, find out what's inside. Right? And we're going to aim to create a monster here. I want to do something a little different rather than just repeat this monster. So I am definitely looking for suggestions. I see we get a lot of suggestions in these comments. Julianne says, a friend recently said she had a tea tin, and I thought that would make an excellent library or scroll tin. Oh, that's a good point. I've been talking about books all week, but scrolls are another amazing little tiny scroll format to get your stories into, especially if you want to do like, oh, I'm thinking like medieval tapestry style storytelling. Ooh, boy, I think, Julianne, you might have just opened up a whole new comics camp concept here. Scroll libraries, ancient scrolls. Yes. All right. So maybe this monster will be ancient scrolls. Maybe this will be something befitting something pre-bookish. So I'm gonna pick a color theme. Maybe I'll go with green because I have not yet explored the possibilities of green ink on these boxes. I have a red monster. I have my little Moby Dick whale started out kind of green, but it started out blue and it added some green, but it doesn't feel very greenish. So I'm thinking I'll go with grays and greens. And of course, I'm always looking to add in like contrasting colors. I'll add in some purples and blues and some surprise colors. I've also been thinking a lot about little sort of Cthulhu monsters, maybe like octopus-headed monsters, as if this could be an ancient repository of scrolls or something, and maybe it has a little octopus head creature. And when you lift up the octopus head, you see what's inside it. And maybe, I could even paint, this inside's kind of mucky anyways. I could paint guts and things on the inside. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to start off. Maybe I'll start off, like I said the other day, I usually try to start whenever possible with light colors, because if I do the light color areas and then dark over it, it doesn't smudge quite as much. If I do the dark colors, the light colors kind of smudge them all over the place. So actually, I'll go even lighter. Let's make a brief game plan with a pencil here. I have my wrapped box. I've found if I put the eyes on top, you can't see the eyes when you're looking at it on the shelf. If I put the eyes on the side, like in the whale box here, the eyes are on the side, but then when it faces out on the shelf, It's not really much of a face. And on top, you have the blowhole, of course, and then back the tail and stuff. So let's think about this box and how it might sit on a shelf of little mini books. Maybe I want the eyes in the front. I like how the eyes in the front kind of stare right at you, inviting you to open the box. So let's try that. I'm going to give it, these will be kind of forbidding, imposing eyes, I'm thinking. Like a big brow. Well, maybe it could have like, maybe this is one of those mystical monsters. Make the eyes big enough to really see. Maybe this could be one of those mystical monsters with like a bright shining red jewel right here on top of the head. That could be kind of cool and kind of designy. So if you saw the top of the box, you'd think, oh, what a nice shining jewel box. And then when you look down on the side, you'll see this face with its tentacles looking at you. Oh, I like this already. All right, so your job here in creating a library and creating all your books, all your creative endeavors, whether it's comics or writing books or doodling these crazy scrolls that we're making, that we're planning. Your job here is really to find the thing that really makes your imagination light up, right? The thing that makes you say, oh, I want to see what that box looks like. And once you have that, once you find that, sometimes you have to start making marks to find it. I'm going to give it some wrinkles under the eyes here. Once you have that, then you can keep moving towards that. You can keep working towards it. Let's see, the problem here with this short lid is the tentacles will be really, really short unless they kind of go to the side like this. They could kind of wiggle and squiggle out to the side and go around the edge of the box. And maybe they come around the back edge and they curl. I like curly cues and repeated swirls and things. Maybe the tentacles kind of flow back like this. And there could even be some tentacles coming down. Oh, maybe it's 2 layers of tentacles. Maybe like there's tentacles coming down here. This is going to be kind of a goopy, gloppy, bottom of the seafloor type monster. And then when you lift it up, maybe it has another face underneath. Oh, maybe it has teeth underneath. This will be the mouth with tentacles all around the mouth. I'm going to give it another swirl tentacle and swirl the other way here. Just kind of making it up. The pencil really frees you up to make things up and try things out because you can always erase it. If you're in the mood for a real creative adrenaline rush, try just inking it directly with your permanent markers. Maybe we'll have tentacles crossing each other here. Oh, maybe the tentacles could be holding a book. Maybe one tentacle comes down and holds a book here. We'll put like a little book with a bookmark in it. There we go. And on this side, maybe they have a pencil. Stubby little pencil. With a little pink eraser on it. I want to hit just the right mix of like scary and cute. And we have a shining like scarab jewel up here. I like this plan. Now, I'm thinking now of colors. This jewel, I think if the rest of the monster is sort of dark green and gray, the jewel can be kind of red with yellow around it. And maybe there's like goopy, gloppy tentacle veins all around this monster's head. Ugh. This one might be a special interest monster. Not everybody wants a goopy, gloppy tentacle monster. Put some toes around here. And maybe just, maybe like scales. I was going to say like a toga, but I think it's going to be hard to get a toga on this shape. This box is just too wide, so we'll just make sort of dark scales on all sides here. Haven't decided what the back will look like. These will be scales there. I'm just loosely penciling. Now we have a game plan. And thinking of the back now, maybe just a big tail. I like to have, I've done this before on some of my monsters. I'll have like a curly tail. There we go. And maybe little wings. And just kind of do those fingers, do the webbing. Maybe a little wing here tucked behind the tail. And what I'll do is I'll kind of shade in around these so they kind of stand out apart from the skin of the monster. And we'll have to have some scales. Just loosely penciling here. Not even sure. I'll ink those scales. I'll improvise those scales. Now, the other thing to look at as you're making your monster, if you've got the eyes on there, you've got if you have tentacles, we have to think of what's going to be revealed when we open that mouth, right? Now, one thing I like to do, you can work at your own pace. You can, if you're looking at this video afterwards, you can pause it too and go back and hit play when you're ready with your next phase. So we've done a face, we've done some body details. We've even gone around back and figured out what's on the back. We've looked up at the top. We're going to have that jewel on the top. Now let's think about what's inside. I like to trace along the edge of the lid so I know exactly what's visible when the lid is closed and what's revealed when the lid is opened up. So when we open this up, whoop, everything above that line will suddenly become revealed. And I'm thinking I'm going to draw like a lower jaw lip line here. And some of these tentacles can even go up into that, right? Those lines will continue and they'll be revealed when the lid is up. And then we'll also reveal, I'm thinking you could have anything. Remember we have here when the roof comes up, the little bunny rabbits are reading over the icicles. I think of them as being in the attic of the library there. Maybe I should put a nice light and ceiling fan up in the ceiling. They're reading in the attic of the library. We have some others like the skull box. When you open it up, it's a skull overgrown with flowers. And when you open it up, I think inside you see the tongue, a little earthworm crawling around in there, and a little garden growing inside the cranium there. So you can get creative with that. I don't have an idea yet for the inside. Maybe it'll be like the underside of this jewel or something. Maybe that goes right through to the inside. We'll figure that out. But for now, I think I like the look of the teeth. And it goes from the flabby, soft tentacles to library fangs. This becomes like a book guardian. We may have to put teeth on the inside lip too, but we can work on that later. Let's get the outer skin done. And I really like with these teeth, let's coordinate that one tooth around the corner. Okay. I really like with these teeth coming in with my heavy black paint level marker and painting all this black, and we'll have those teeth sticking out. We'll even put some red gums around them. That really makes the white stand out against the black, having a little red surrounding it. So I'll just give a little bump between each tooth, and that'll be red there. Sort of planning it out as I go. The more boxes you make, the more little techniques like that you have. I think I did. Oh, I didn't do gums on these teeth. See, that's just white teeth with black background. Do I have a monster with gums? Does our whale have gums? Yeah, there you go. See that little dot of red there at the base of each tooth, coming up between each tooth? That kind of adds a little touch of color, a little touch of maybe danger to those teeth. Cuteness mixed with danger. Oh, I like the way the tentacles flow around the rectangular box. It's a nice contrast of smooth roundness and boxy, straight edge boxiness. All right, I think we are ready to start inking. So like I said, I'm going to come in with my lightest colors and get those first. I want these eyes to positively glow like the library windows there. So let's get inking with light colored eyes. Maybe we'll do that jewel on top. That can be a glowing, bright pink red jewel. We can always add a little orange edging if we want to these eyes to make them a little more fiery. You can combine a bunch of warm colors, orange and yellow, maybe even a little red, and then cool greens all around them, and it'll make them look even brighter. There we go. Oh, it looks like some malevolent flame is burning. Maybe this is the kind of creature, too, who has like extra eyes on either side, spider-like. We'll put a couple eyes on here. I'm sure this library monster has senses we can't even imagine as it guards its library of forbidden tomes on the sea floor. Let's see, what are we going to do? We need maybe a hot pink, and I have a light pink. I'm going to put a sparkle on this gem so it looks kind of round. Then I have a darker red that will go under that. So let's see, we'll put a light source, maybe like a sparkle, maybe 2, how about 3 sparkles? How about 4? Super sparkly. And what I'll do is I'll color this hot pink all around here. I'll make the gem. Doesn't have to be perfectly round. One of the nice things about these hand-drawn monster libraries is they are delightfully imperfect, like all of us. They have their little twists and turns, edges of tape visible. It's kind of, I think that's pretty charming. Color this in quickly. You see that jewel take shape. See those little white spots? They're kind of a cartoony hint at what reflection would look like in that color. It makes it look like the light shining down on it and gleaming in a certain way. And then I'm going to edge them with pink. I don't really have the chance to erase our lovely pencil lines here. That softens them a little. And now let's do, if the light's shining from this side, then this side will be shadowed. So let's do a little darker red on maybe this curving edge. That adds a little bit of color, a little bit of orange too. Just a little bit of red, maybe almost halfway across, because this is a curved sort of sphere jewel. And then I'm going to be even more adventurous, and I'm going to go in with purple, which is the color of shadow, and just darken this shaded side. No, it's not super subtle. It's a heavy shadow there, but that gives us a light side. I actually, my desk lamp here, right, is right up here shining down on it. If I turn it off, you'll see. So I'm casting shadows and I'm gleaming in the artwork off the desk lamp. It looks like it's gleaming off the artwork. And there's a little purple edge. And that will kind of pop that gemstone out of the roof of our library. You know, we might try that approach too on these eyes. Let's go in with a little bit, like I said, a warm color. Underline them here. We'll see how that looks when we outline this in green. Ooh, that gives them sort of a like I said, a malevolent gleam, a glimmer underneath there. Ooh, this is looking good. Actually, I'm thinking those yellows and oranges will look really good here on this gemstone, on the setting of our gemstone. So let's use that same approach. I'm going to color that in yellow. See how it's smudging the purple a little. I have to be really careful. But I think I'll go over this completely in a blue or a purple and outline all the parts. So if it smudges a little, that's all right. It's just blending the colors. Consider it blending. You would be doing that with crayons, right? Or pastels or paints. So we can do that with permanent markers too. They're not supposed to blend, but we can do that. There we go. There's a yellow base. Let's see now. What do we want? Let's do like an orange shadow side. So I'm imagining where this kind of bumps out and bumps down. And if the light's coming from this direction, we've got all this side shadowed a little bit. And we'll shadow all these little filigrees and bumps. Your monster might not have all these fancy edges to it. Let's see. I'm thinking, what did I say? I'm thinking I'll do like a blue outline on that, but I'm going to wait until I get the light green skin on this monster. So let's do a little light green skin. Now, like as with my red monster, I didn't want to have to color the whole surface red because that would take forever. So I came up with a pattern, right, that would enable me to color part of it, and then it makes your eye see red. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll try that here. Maybe I'll just use those lines again. Have them all go sort of the same way. Then I can blend colors too, because I can put lines in between those lines. Sort of like I did with the whale. This is green and blue blended. And I like how that looks more complicated to your eye than a straight up color. You might not have, I got, a dozen markers here with all these different colors. I feel so luxurious. You might not have all those colors, so you can definitely blend what colors you have. Greens and blues, greens and browns. Or keep it simple. Keep it more primary colored. Maybe you're doing a black and white monster. I do a lot of black and white artwork in my graphic novels and comics. Right? I have an example over here from my graphic novel Freeman Colby, set in the Civil War. And that's all black and white artwork. So it's really nice. I love drawing black and white because you can get so many effects with that. But it's really nice on these monsters. You can see I like to take a break from the black and white and play with that color and try to get effects with that color. Now these tentacles, it's really key that these tentacles are well defined and clear. So I'm thinking, I'm actually thinking I need to do the outlines on them. And if I color it like this, it won't smudge too badly. So let's go in with a dark green. I have this green and I have sort of a blue green. I think I'll go with a straight up green. And let's do our detail outlines before we get too far along here. So I'm following my pencil lines. It's a little hard to see now that it's inked over. This at least enables me to see where everything goes. I'm going to thicken those eyebrows. There we go. Like I said, malevolent gleam. Do some little sort of wrinkly, dotty lines there under the eyes. I may come in with like a blue or a gray and darken around the eyes. I like that look. It's sort of like we did here. See how I came in with a little silvery gray and gave a little shadow that kind of hints that the brow sticks out in front of the eye there, and that the eye is in a little cave there. I think that would look good here if the eyes are in a little bit of a cave on this creature. Also under the tentacles, we're going to want to have a little bit of a cave, a little bit of a shadow. Maybe even something darker than that gray. Okay, there's our first tentacle. There's our next tentacle, the mustache tentacles. We have the beard tentacles and the mustache tentacles on this critter. I'm going to try to be really careful as I'm handling the box, not to ink something and then handle it with my fingers, because then it'll smudge off on my fingers here. Oh, I see, Susan, you just tagged my friend Sandy. That's great. I love that you all know each other. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to create a I'm going to create a master list of all the classes from this week, Monday through Thursday, and I'll post that over at the Patreon. Maybe I'll make it a public post so everyone can see it. But if you head over to the Patreon, I know Sandy's over there. If you head over to the Patreon, you can sign up there and you'll get invites to all the future classes, Kimball Jenkins and otherwise. And it's been really great this year having people signed up there, because then everything I post as I'm working on stuff, you get an update. And you get to see sneak previews of books coming up. We've got a new book coming out first thing as early as possible in 2021. We've got a lot of books in the works. The new book for 2021 is The Most Costly Journey. It's a collection of narratives, oral stories by undocumented farm workers in New England who tell their stories. It was originally, all the comics were originally in Spanish, but this is an English translation that's coming out. And I have some comics in that. It's by a bunch of artists. So that's coming up. I'm posting updates about that as I work on this stuff. Where did my green go? Is this my green? Now I can go in there and I can gently conform. That looks different until it's dried. I can gently conform my texture along the lines of my, oh, what did I just say? I'm not going to handle those. I can gently conform my texture along the lines of my tentacles. Never thought I'd say that particular sentence before, but that's what we're doing here. Kind of nice to just have this week. I've really been appreciating having a regular time to meet and create things together. And I don't know how this is going to turn out. I don't know where this is headed, this critter. But I feel like, in a way, not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing how this creative project is going to turn out, and doing it together, there's something about that confronting the unknown and with joy and creativity, that art gives us, like this training to handle the stresses and anxieties of life. Sure, you're not always going to know what's going to happen. That's part of the, well, I won't say fun. That's part of the excitement of it. It's been a wild year, but I've just been really grateful to be able to keep drawing straight through and to have people to draw with. Classes and libraries and schools, and Kimball Jenkins has been a big piece of that. So thank you, Kimball Jenkins. And the Patreon over there too. And really grateful for all the communities we have here. This is coming together. Now, it's going to look like one big light green mass, of course, but then I'll come back in, like I said, with the sort of gray and silver shadows, and we'll differentiate it. We'll make it so the tentacles stand out a little more. Ah, nice. Susan likes the eyes. And yes, art is definitely, I keep saying earlier this week, I keep saying it's creative problem solving, and that's what we need in life. We need creative problem solving, not so much following directions. I mean, following directions is a good skill, but there's a point where there are no directions, as we've seen this year. And we need to work together to figure out how to get square boxes to look like round tentacles, and work like round tentacles, and open up to reveal stories, and so on. Speaking very literally here. All right, so there's my gleefully malevolent library priest creature. And here, I think, this is what I set out to do. I think what I'll do is I'll have these lines radiating out from this scarab jewel at the center of its forehead. See that? They'll all kind of shine out. And I think that will actually help the jewel appear more radiant, because if all the shadows and darker colors around it subtly kind of point back to it, it's going to look like this whole face of the box is focused around that one pulsing jewel. I could even maybe put some light pink or orange coloring into the skin around it. So we'll just we'll get a little darker as we go out to the edges, and we'll keep pointing back to that jewel. I actually go away from that jewel, but the lines all point back to the center. I use this a lot in comics panels. When you want to draw attention to something, you can kind of build the panel around that thing. Even if the thing isn't even in the center, if like the textures and the motion and everything all point back to that, like a perspective line, like a momentum perspective, they kind of force or kind of push or draw the reader's eye into that one object. So here, our one object on this forehead is this jewel. Get a little darker out towards the corners. Maybe it'll help round the corners a little if it's kind of darker out there, like solid and dark. That can help this head look a little less boxy and square. All right, so from the face, yeah, that looks like a little bit of a light source, a little bit of a glow coming from that creepy pulsing jewel. Now I can just barely make out the little monster veins we drew on there. I'll put a couple monster veins. And I can bring them down around that, connecting details that cross from one face to the other help kind of round out the box. Oh, I like how this critter's looking. I think we'll add the tentacles underneath. And then I'm thinking these scales won't be green. I'm thinking they'll be like a light blue or something. You know, I don't want it to look all like the same kind of surface. So let's open this up to do the, oh, look at those teeth. This is going to look so cool with those teeth. Our first glimpse of malevolent gleam with fangs. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Like I found with that head, creative problem solving, I think it's going to work better to actually trace these tentacles out and then conform my texture lines to my tentacles. So let's do that. We'll rough out those shapes that we penciled in. Also looking for excuses or reasons to bring one shape around the edge. Here's our book clasping tentacle. Maybe I'll elongate that a little bit so it goes around the book. And this one's kind of propping the book up. There we go. I think I'll do the lip. There we go. Bring that lip around the corner. This lip is a little crooked and uneven, a little wavery and gloppy and slimy, as bottom of the sea librarian monster lips tend to be, if you've ever noticed. You know, as you create these images, you might find that your imagination starts telling stories about them. Maybe there's a story to be told about a librarian in an ancient, forgotten library at the bottom of the sea. With a little book and a little pencil. Oh, I like how this is looking. So feel free, folks, remember, we're doing this all week. We are, if you're just joining us, where did my books go? We are creating little library books, which I'm losing. We're creating these little library books out of 3x5 cards, folding them up, stapling them through, folding them up, and then you have a blank book to carry around and draw and write stories into. And we're filling up these boxes, these library boxes, with books this week and this month and into 2021. And today our featured library box is this gleefully malevolent, cutely inviting library monster creature librarian from the bottom of the ocean. Maybe a brown for this pencil. I want the pencil to be sort of warm, earthy tones. Oh, I've got to do light colors first. I keep reminding myself, light colors first. All right, let's do the yellow. See how that yellow smudges the brown a little if I do the brown and the green first? Should do those light colors first. It's okay. Blending. And pink eraser. Peachy pink eraser. That's got to be a little more red than that. So let's add some darker pink on the shadow side. There we go. Put in the pencil contour lines. Maybe that'll be green back of the pencil. And a little bit of black on the tip. And that's all it takes. I'll leave that wood side white. Okay, I think we're done with those tentacles. Now we are ready to add that green texture. I can find the right marker here. Is this it? That is it, the green texture to this lower lip. And we'll just patiently add that in. So feel free, also if you're joining us, feel free to add suggestions or questions or comments into the comments if you're on Facebook. If you're viewing this later, we've archived it. I'm in the process of archiving it on YouTube. My YouTube channel's out there somewhere under Merrick Bennett, putting all my comics workshop stuff. I'm also going to I'll post some playlists from the summer's comics camps. We have a lot of projects from that, including our How to Draw Loons series and all sorts of fun stuff. It's been such a busy year. That's what I was saying earlier. I'm just so grateful for all these chances to keep making art. We got to seize carpe art, right? You got to seize the chance and get together and make art together whenever you can with the people you're with right now, and maybe remotely with the people you're not with. Good way to meet up and have some semi-structured, semi-unstructured time together. And these, I've found doing these books, if you draw these little tiny books and make these little libraries with somebody in mind, it's a great way to surprise them. You can mail them to them, or you can send them pictures of the books in your hands. That's really sweet to get to. All different ways to share these creative projects. And you can swap books back and forth. Whoops, let's go around the corner there. And learn from each other and trade stories that way. It's also nice at the end of the year to kind of take stock. Tell a little story about what might have happened, what you wish had happened, what did happen. Maybe instead of yourself, draw it as animals or monsters, use your imagination. And you'll find those stories kind of change and take on a different shape. You'll learn something about them. I like how these are looking. What kind of monster boxes are you making? I'd love to hear from you too. Or maybe they're not monster boxes. Maybe I'm projecting. I saw a couple really cool library box projects that people have posted. So it's nice to know that other people are out there making these crazy projects. I like to imagine like a year from now, looking back on these boxes and This will be a nice marker. At the end of 2020, here's something we created. Always be able to create this stuff no matter what happens. Okay, so here's my question. I'm liking how this looks. If the tentacles are green, the feet will also be green, the toes. Or maybe these are fingers, I don't know. That's a whole other realm. What do you want to put on the bottom side of the box? Is it like claws? Is it tentacles? Is it mud of the sea floor? Or whatever you're doing your box about. So if these scales are kind of a grayish blue, what's going to happen on the back, right? Maybe these lines from the head come down and the scales help the wings sort of stand apart, but maybe the tail is green, like everything else. Here's where we enter into the improvising with a permanent marker phase of the morning. It's such a treat to get up every morning and have a regular class and be making these. And this year, I'm zipping off to schools and teaching in schools and stuff. And this year, not so much, not at all, in fact. So it's really nice to be able to draw with you here. Or if you're watching this on the archived video, it's nice to be able to draw with you out of time. But let's be in touch. Kind of nice to have all this archived so we can go back. I think I started to say I'll make a playlist of this week's library activities, and I'll post that so you can always use that. If you want to use that with your friends or with a class or with a group, it'll walk you through the basics and give you some demos. I have also posted over on the Patreon a bunch more demos. I actually, as I created each of these little boxes, I took a quick snapshot at each stage as I added each color. So you can kind of see it go, just like this morning, you can see it go from a blank white taped up box, or even before that, to getting taped up, to getting sketched out, to getting colored in bit by bit. You can see all the stages of it. So I posted that over on the Patreon. I'll put that website right there. You can head over there, and if you sign up there, I really appreciate it. It helps get the word out about all these projects. You can sign up, and I'll send out. You'll automatically receive all the invites and updates for future classes and projects and the new books coming out. The wings. What color will the wings be? Ooh. Well, I'll do the scales. I'll figure out the wings. It has to be a color. Maybe it should be this kind of green, but it has to be something that's going to jump out, that I can darken around. Maybe they'll be like green fingers and sort of purplish membrane. Oh, that could set off the purple of the jewel. That might be nice. Something that's going to pop up out of that green that I can shadow under. Let's see how the scales look around all this green. Oh, I'm liking this. I can't wait to fill this with books and then set it on. You know what? While we're making it, let's fill it with a couple books. This monster seems hungry already. I'll fill it with a blank book, just so it can be chewing on that blank book, the first book in our monster library here. Can't wait to set this up on a shelf and see how it interacts with the other libraries. Or maybe this is for a friend. Maybe this will go out to somebody. It'd be really fun. Actually, it'd be cool to try the same design, only with a purple skinned monster and red eyes or something, change some of the colors, a couple of the design elements. I'm thinking I need to have a little more makeup under the eyes, darkening right under them. Maybe, since we're thinking purple, maybe a little purple shading under those eyes, just to help them. Ooh, that really makes it a bit more nightmarish, maybe. don't want to go too far in the nightmarish direction, but I definitely want it to be eye-catching. And I'm thinking of all the undone stuff. So I have to do those scales, do the book. Let's do the book right now while we're thinking of it. The book will make maybe, I'm thinking a reddish, because that's going to stand out best against this green and blue monster skin. But I will outline it with a blue. Then we'll make that bookmark maybe orange or something. I broke my rule. I did the dark line first. You're going to get to see it smudge. But I want this book to look a little bit smudgy. Sorry if it's a little out of focus. It's a tall box pressed up against the camera here. I don't mind if this book looks a little bit smudgy because it's been handled by a lot of tentacles in this forbidden undersea library of ours. Maybe, oh, I just thought of something that could go on the back. There we go. It might be really cute. Where could it go? Where could it go? Where could it go? I'll put it right in here. I'm just going to improvise this. Put a couple of them on there where I haven't colored anything in. Maybe one hiding right here. That just changed the whole setting of this critter. Maybe one more somewhere around here. Is there space? Oh, nestled right in here. Suddenly there's like a little school of fish tucked around this critter. I like that. Oh, I'm glad we talked this through. All right. I am thinking, I kind of like how the surface of our cottage library turned out yesterday when I shaded it. So I'm going to go back in with a lightish shade and just lightly do a couple rows here. Then I will go in with the scales with a darker bluish color and get those. But I know I've got to get this row by row colored in with the light color so I don't smudge it with the darker color. Could leave it like that too. It could be like a woolly, furred librarian. Oh, I like the way that shadow mixes with the green. I might have to add some green into that though to tie them together. Let's see. Susan suggested red or orange wings. Yeah, the orange actually maybe green with kind of orangish membranes with a little green mixed in. That could set it off, and the fish will be sort of a purple. Yep. Looks like you're looking at making a building. It's great. You can go out and look around and take architectural ideas from the buildings around you. And that can be great to give you ideas. Or think of like fantastic buildings not around you. Like I wanted to do a fortress castle library that could have some surprises built into it. So that was that design. Somebody should do like a skyscraper library. I wonder if you could get like an igloo style library. Or maybe a library made out of cyclopean blocks of basalt for this undersea librarian to stand next to. I want to now that I've gotten my color fun in so much this week, I kind of want to try doing some really stark black and white designs on this tape. I used to love that look of black and white on masking tape, like lots of ornamentation and texture, but very few colors, maybe only a couple colors. I'll have to experiment with that next year. I'll post the results, definitely. I have a feeling we're going to be making a lot of little gift boxes and storage boxes and library boxes in the coming months. This is a great activity for the winter. You've got your gardens all put to bed and it's time to huddle by the wood stove and make some make some new stories happen, tell each other some new stories. This is what I love about this, coming back to, where was it? Curse of the Werewolf's Accordion that we were working on the other day. I love this form with these books where you start writing the story, but you don't actually write the words, and you hint at the story, and that gets the reader kind of telling the story. I'm gonna see what kind of stories my readers can tell me when they read through this Curse of the Werewolf's Accordion. And I think every reader will have a different story. I love that we all can interpret it differently. And I think that all those different tellings kind of add up to a bigger story. Here's my blue scales underlying that tail, underlying the wings. Maybe those fish should be something other than purple, because or maybe they're camouflage. They're purplish because they want to camouflage and hide against this librarian's fur. We'll add a little bit of, maybe this is going to be a blue-green scale. This makes it, the blue and the green together make it a little more aquatic, don't they? We'll add the scales in like this. I like to have a pattern for the scales, just like the shingles. You do a U shape, just U's next to each other, and the line of each U connects with the bottom of the U above it. And that gives you, then they're all sort of regular. They protect each other like as they do in real scales. And having that order beneath it helps makes it look more organic. It's not perfect, not measured, no rulers involved. Maybe we skip a scale here or there. There's a missing scale. Maybe we get going faster down towards the bottom and the scales don't quite line up because the monster moves and curls there. That's all right. Tiny scales in there. If I make it kind of darker and shadowed around those toes, it'll look like they're sticking out from under the scales there. Remember, I'll probably come back with like my gray silver marker and do some shading under these tentacles too. Do all the faces here with that same pattern. Definitely shading under. We'll definitely want to shade under that pencil. These scales are a little loose, just suggesting scales back there. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I think what we'll do, since we're almost at an hour, it's almost time to take a little break and let the air clear of permanent marker fumes. I think what I'll do is I'll put the teeth in, then we'll take a little break. And I'll post the results. I'm going to come back later in the afternoon on my own Facebook page and probably do a little more bookmaking, or maybe if I can't stop doing this little demon creature, maybe we'll just aim to finish this and I'll post the results. We'll see, because I want to come in and blend in a little more green into these scales, maybe like this, just so there isn't so much color contrast and there's a little more shading there. Right, and a little more green. That little bit of green I find can help tie the, so it doesn't look too different between the green on top and the purple. And I might go in, if I'm feeling brave, and take a little of this blue, this bluish purple gray, and actually do my shading with that, because that again will tie the two sides together. I can shade under each wrinkle and around the eyes, like I said, under that furrowed brow, and maybe even on the underside of each tentacle. It depends on how complicated I want to get here. Sometimes I want to keep my design really simple. Sometimes I want to experiment with shading. That means I'll probably want to shade under each tentacle, maybe just a curved line along the bottom edge. can help tie it together. I might come in and paint the toenails red or something too, something cute. So this will all have to be, yeah, I'll want to shade in here. See that? Go right in there and shade it. Shade here, shade in here. That kind of pops the tentacle out in front of the rest of the head. Oh, I like that. I'll shade green under these. Why don't I just hit that? Let's see how it looks. We want that to be kind of smudged together and shadowy. Definitely shade green under here. And that ties them together a little more too. There's a place for contrast and a place for kind of tying things together. Oh, I like how that looks. That brought those tentacles right out. Oh, this is going to look so cool. I'll do the same side, same way. Might add some bubbles for the fish. I'll definitely get that tail going. And I'm going to go in and also probably edge the fine filigrees, setting the jewel probably in a brown or maybe a red, or maybe I'll break out the fancy gold marker and see how that looks. There might be some gleams and crackling energy too. We'll see. Oh, I just got an idea. All right, I'm going to keep working on this one. Let's finish up though with our teeth. I'm thinking no tongue. We'll keep it simple. I'm going to go in and do the teeth in some kind of crazy, unexpected color. Just going to grab the dark turquoise for now. Let's do the gums first, right? So that turquoise is going to really contrast with the red gums, which is what I want here. Red gums on these like shark. Oh, there could be even shark teeth. I think this creature needs shark teeth. You know what I mean? Shark teeth with like a layered tooth going back in between each tooth. Oh, yeah. I love these discoveries we make as we take the time to explore these creatures and sit with them and listen to them and listen to their needs and their perspectives, and then draw like multi-layered shark teeth into their mouths. Oh, thanks, Susan. I'm so glad we could draw together this week. It's been fun. Susan says, looks good. At some point, you said looks good. Maybe that's out of date by now. Let's see. I'm so glad we could draw together this week and make so many little books together. Folks, if you get a chance to post any pages from your books, that's great. I'm going to post some of mine over on the Instagram account. I may do, I don't know, we'll see. We may do some more in the coming days that I'll post to the Patreon. What did we say? The turquoise for the teeth. Outer row turquoise, maybe inner row a darker color. So they kind of recess into the mouth a little bit. And this is our, I think our last scheduled 10 a.m. session, but I'll definitely come back on at some point tomorrow with updates on these, just to ring in the new year with maybe a new book. I've got a new mini comic concept, a historical mini comic I want to draw around the new year that I might end up doing tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of nice to be informal about it, but if you sign up on the Facebooks and the YouTubes and over on the Patreon, as mentioned, you'll get all the invitations to them. So that was our turquoise tooth row. I'm thinking I want something a little darker. I think I'm just going to go to the blue. The blue is nice and dark on this tape for the interior row of teeth. And that row might be a little grayed, as if it's shadowed back there. Oh, this is like borderline a little too scary for a cute library. Those teeth are something else. Do you want to reach into this critter to get your book out of it? I don't know. There might be like a missing tooth somewhere. Maybe right there is a missing tooth because it broke off while biting a book or a book builder's hand. Maybe a missing tooth there too. I like these imperfections we can accumulate here. Oh, and I just had another idea as we work on this mouth. See these flaps here, these inside flaps? Well, guess who's swimming around on those? We'll put one of these little purple fish, a really big fat one with a mouthful, because they go in and they clean those teeth out, I think. Or they read all the books. I don't know. Maybe a couple little ones here. There. Somehow having little stick figure happy fish makes those teeth a little more palatable. Oh, I like how this is going to look. Now, the final, the coup de grace here will be, let's see, we're going to go in with the black marker. And we're going to paint the first real dark black we've used in this whole design. I like that the shadows, everything is colors, 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 colors. No, I don't think I've used black at all, except on the tip of the pencil, right? So now we're going to go in and make this really striking high contrast. I'll show you how this goes. This is a fat chisel tip, so I have to be very careful painting, but I can work the chisel into the corners between the teeth and then just, it's like paint. This is such a lovely thick marker. Look at that. No light escapes the maw of our librarian. You know librarians like this? I don't. Nobody quite like this, but in a good way, sort of. Let's see. Look at that. Oh, and that makes it look like, I got to be careful not to smudge that stuff. This ink dries slowly, but that makes it look like it's darkness inside, like there's a jagged edge to those teeth, even though we didn't cut up the box at all. I try not to cut the box because that weakens the box. There we go. Look at that. The chisel tip works right into that corner at an angle. Whoop. And because we outlined it in colors, it gives the teeth a little bit of a softness, that blue-green softness that ties it in with the rest of the colors of the creature. If you do all your outlines in black, it's very hard. It doesn't necessarily add anything to the colors of the body of the creature. But if you do all your outlines in different colors, like if we did these teeth in orange or red or brown, it'd be a very different feel in this mouth. They'd sort of tie in with the gums. Not better or worse, but just different. I have to try one like that sometime. Oh, you're welcome, Holly. Thanks for doing this. Holly says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. And Susan, you're welcome, Susan. Thanks for being here and drawing with us. It's just like this whole year. It's been a really fun week. It's not an easy time. It's been a hard year, been an interesting, exciting year, but I've just been so grateful to have all these opportunities to draw together. We are getting to the end of our hour-plus long meeting today. Thanks for stopping by today. Oh, I'm concerned these fish's tails don't look connected with that dark. I may come back in with like the silver and make these fish kind of silver scaled, just to make sure their tails all connect. Or maybe I'll back off a little with the black and let them be give them a little halo. It's been really fun drawing with you though today. Any questions, comments, suggestions in our last couple minutes here? It'd be great, people who are making your library boxes or making your books. Let's share some of those and tag Kimball Jenkins or tag me if you're on the Facebooks. We'll just be in touch through all the channels. Love to see what you're working on. It's great to swap ideas. Look at those little fish swimming around those teeth. They're not scared, so I don't feel scared. Let's do this last flap here. Kimball Jenkins says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you and the whole community. What are your drawing goals for 2021? Ooh, good question. Whoops, I gotta watch out. I don't want to get this slow drying ink. Let me turn over my card and use that as a backing. I don't want to get one of my drawing goals is not to have ink splatter all over my nice, this is just a door I have on some filing cabinets, my lovely desk. All right, drawing goals for 2021, folks. What are our drawing goals? I'm going to set a drawing goal of keeping a little daily chart. I haven't done this since September. I have it right over here. Whoops. If I don't knock over the camera getting it. So I did this in September. Each day of I have my pages going up this way, and I have the days of the month going this way. And as I worked on Freeman Colby Volume 3, I did, 6 pages this in over 2 days here. And then I didn't do anything for a few days. And then, so I'm keeping track of how many pages I get drawn. That's one of my goals, to do that for January and see what I can get done. I'm going to set a goal. My goal is to set a goal. I'll set a goal of pages to draw and then use that chart to make sure I stick to my goal, whether it's 2 pages a day, 3 pages a day, 1 page a day. That's sometimes the only way I can get these long-term book projects done. So I'll be, and then I'll make it public. I'll post it and I'll post my progress so that other folks who are also working on stuff can we can keep each other going. It's good to get encouragement, good to get support. Okay, there's my other fish. Kind of tempted to see how these fish look when we color them in, leaving them not the white of the teeth, but maybe like a lighter color. Maybe they'll all be the same color. I think they should be slightly different colors, but all purple to tie them together. There's one little fish. 2 little fish. Kimball Jenkins, I'm talking to you as a community or a group. You must have drawing goals for 2021. You must have a lot of classes coming together. I'd like to have to go check out the catalog and see what's going on. Maybe I'll set a goal. We can set a goal of setting up some more of these comics camps before the summer comes. Definitely in the summer, I'll be doing this again. It was so fun last summer, but we've got a long time before then. So let's set a goal of meeting up again, and maybe we can have like a micro library gallery. Where everybody can share a book they've created recently. All right, there's some orangey fish, some pink fish, some nice shark teeth, and it closes up. Ooh, I like the look of that. I like how, oh, that's such a nice smile. Isn't that cute? I like how you can't see the teeth at all, and it looks like just a gloppy tentacle monster. And then as you open it, you're surprised, and then you'll see a whole shelf full of books here once it's done. All right. All right, we're at 1 hour and a quarter, folks. Time to go walk the dog, check the old wood stove. Definitely keep us posted on your libraries and how they're going. Definitely send any comments or questions you have. I'm going to try to pop back in later on one of these social media thingies to do a little more live drawing. And I'm kind of thinking I'll work on this monster a little more. So maybe we can finish it up before 2021 comes. But at any rate, Happy New Year to everybody. Good luck with all your projects. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Kimball Jenkins. Thank you to patrons who made all this possible. Boy, it's been quite a year. I'm looking forward to drawing with you lots more next year. So be safe, everybody. Good luck with your libraries. Write lots of books, write lots of stories, work together, and we'll be in touch. Happy New Year, everybody.